I'm in the Woodyard today. We have a hostage situation. Someone is holding pictures and my Uncle Benjamin hostage. I need to rescue him. So right now I'm going to load up a bunch of wood because that is the ransom they are demanding for the exchange of said pictures of my uncle. Two different people are holding them. There's going to be a lot of crashing, a lot of banging, loud noises. It's going to be very dramatic. Here we go. So I've crawled into my cage here in the Woodyard. It is a spectacular day here. Right now it's about 52 degrees and it's supposed to get a little warmer, but just beautiful, beautiful weather. Too bad you guys are at work pretending to work watching me. So I'm gonna chuck in a bunch of wood here. In this bin right here, there's some mixed hardwood, but there's a lot of hard maple, mostly hard maple, and a bunch of ironwood. And this person always wants mixed hardwood. They want one full cord. So we're gonna throw it into the trailer and we're gonna fill it up about to that high, and then I'm gonna throw some extra in to make sure we got plenty. Now we got another delivery after that today too. So it is a day in the fall when the money comes. Right now I'm sitting on probably 6 or 7 orders that I have to deliver over the next week or two. And it's a sure sign that fall is here because when it cools down, people start calling. A lot of the people that I sell to this time of year are stocking up because they know the cold is coming and they want to get their wood. So I will supply as long as I get a bunch of pictures of my Uncle Ben. Chucking time. The ransom has been secured. What we got to do is put the tarp over. So we got to go on the interstate for a little ways, and I don't want any chunks of wood flying off and killing anybody. We're gonna cover it up. So the trailer here is N&N 6 by 12, 10,000 pound capacity total. The trailer itself weighs 2,300. The tarp is tight. We're ready to slide down the road. I have returned to the Woodyard. I disconnected the bigger N&N trailer, my bigger 6 by 12 trailer, and I put the baby dumper on because I just got a ransom call from a guy who said he had my Uncle Benjamin in his pocket and I need to rescue him. I had a guy text me about 5 minutes ago and he says, "Hey, you still selling wood?" I said, "Yes, I am." He says, "Good." He says, "When can you bring it?" I said, "I will be there in about 50 minutes. And he said, "Awesome." So I'm gonna load up some cherry for him. He said, "Either cherry or oak," and I got cherry, so he's gonna get cherry because he got cherry the last 3 times. So that's what I'm bringing him. So that's what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna load it up and I'm gonna go deliver this. I'm gonna come back and I need to leave the baby dumper on because I have another delivery right after that. So it's turning into a rescue mission today. Many times to rescue my Uncle Benjamin and his friends, Andrew Jackson and Grant. What else do I get? Sometimes we get some Lincolns, not too many Washingtons. There it is, 1/3 of a cord, a rick, a anchor roll, a face cord, all the same. It's in the trailer. So here's the cherry. I've been eating into it a little bit and I got another bin on the other side. This is the stuff that I got from one of my new good friends, Adam, who moved away, sadness. So this is all cherry. There's a little bit of cedar right here from some stuff I cut at my house. I put it right there just to keep it off the ground, but I'll burn that myself. And this is all cherry over here too. So there's still quite a bit, but I'm gonna be getting some more cherry from one of my new best friends, Jason. He's got, I think, probably like 3 or so full cords, log cords, 3 cords, and he's gonna haul them here sometime in the next couple of weeks. So I want to kind of keep emptying this so that I got room for the new stuff, and I'll try to keep the old stuff and the new stuff somewhat separate because there's a wall here, and that kind of works pretty good in the bins I found. And I'll probably do this more often in the bins. I will probably be taking some of the bins where I'll put on one side one kind of wood, another side another kind of wood, and just putting a couple pallets in there just to separate them. But if they're dramatically different kinds of wood, say you got something like hickory and something like ash, totally different, really easy to tell apart. If they come together in the middle, I can separate them as we chuck it in. But for separating new wood and old wood, if you got bins, if you do them this size, because right here you got 1, 2, 3, there's four pallets standing up, and then there's 2 here. So it's a 2x4, and then the floor, of course, has pallets. And this one here is also 2x4, and I don't even know any idea what's in here. It's a bunch of wood. More is the right amount. So we're gonna go down the road. We're gonna go deliver this one right now and make a dump and then come back and do it again. I am back from that delivery, which you did not see because I backed the little mini dumper right into the guy's garage, and it was in a tight corner. And then I tipped it up probably like halfway because he had fairly high ceilings in his garage, but there was nowhere to put a camera because I literally was like this far from the rack. He was on one side, I was on the other, and his son was kind of reaching over the top, so there's 3 of us. We stacked the whole thing in his rack in probably 10 minutes. So I tipped the trailer so the wood just came right to us, which was awesome. So I've delivered to this guy quite a few times, and he always gives me an extra money because I help him stack, which I would normally charge anyway. But I started long ago, probably like 6, 7 years ago, stacking wood for him. And he always gives me an extra 20 bucks. So even though that's what I would normally charge. So the cherry was $130. That's what I charge for the cherry now because it does cost me more to get. And he gave me an extra 20 bucks. So 150 bucks for that load, and it's gone. And that's done. So now I'm going to throw in a face cord, third of cord, Rick Rank row of oak, because that is my next delivery. It is such a beautiful day here. It's amazing. If you can see the corn in the background, it's barely moving. Not even a breeze. And it's about 70 degrees. It's just awesome. Awesome out here. Too bad you're sitting in a cubicle. Okay, chucking wood time. Tarp time. So yeah, I got the third of a cord, face cord, Rick Rank row, whatever you like to call it. It's in. So I'm just gonna put the tarp on. I find it works best just to pull it all out because it pulls out easier from straight up like that, and then I just slide this back. I know there's people that have automatic things. This works pretty dang quick. Stick it in the slot. Here we go. The load is in. Let's go do a dump. Well, folks, I am back from my last delivery, and I have to admit right up front, I am a complete and total failure today when it comes to rescuing Uncle Benjamin. I didn't get a single one, but I did get a few Jacksons. All Jacksons today. All Jacksons, nothing but Jacksons. So yeah, that was $640 worth of deliveries. It took me about half a day, and that's done. I got my deliveries done for today, and tomorrow I have another delivery. I have a half of a full cord, so a face cord and a half is going to be put into the baby dumper right now because the delivery is for tomorrow morning, and I want to get it loaded up right now so it's just done. I don't have to worry about it, and then I got another job I got to go do. So that's what's going to happen next. We're going to load up the baby dumper with a half of a full cord, face cord and a half, same amount. And then I'm gonna deliver it tomorrow. And then after that, I got a couple other jobs to do. Now, today when I was doing deliveries, I saw 2 other guys with wood going down the road. So we've had some frosty days. I shouldn't say frosty. We had one day there was a little bit of frost on the roofs a couple days ago. And it's been cooling off at night, getting down into the 40s and low mid 30s, somewhere in there. People are starting to call like crazy. And as soon as we get that one really cold, night where it does freeze, the phone just blows up. It calls, texts, emails like crazy. So for those of you that sell wood, you know this. It's go time right now. So if you've done your work all year long preparing your stock, getting your wood ready, making sure you've got lots of wood so that when people call, you've got it, because firewood is one of those products that you can't just snap, there it is. You can't just make it, or you can't just do it in a few days. I see firewood as a long-term, full-time, year-round project. You got to just keep making more, and I try to do, oldest stuff out first. Anything that comes in now for cutting, splitting, putting into the bins, that stuff will be sold next year. Some of it might be dry in 3-4 months, because some of it's very dry when I get it, so there's that. But for the most part, 6 months to a year is what most of the wood requires to dry. Now, I get a lot of questions like, how long does it take this kind of wood to dry? How long does it take that kind of wood to dry? It depends. It depends on if it was cut from green, living trees, or if it was cut from dead standing trees where the bark is off. It depends how long it laid in a log form on a pile. It depends on the species. It depends on where you are. It depends on your drying conditions, as far as if you've got open sun and wind all the time like we have here at the farm. But most wood, if you get it cut and split, get it off the ground and get it to where the air can actually hit it, the sun can hit it, a lot of wood is dry in 3 to 4 months. Ash, soft maple, cherry, stuff like that, it dries really fast. And if you've got even oak that's cut from dead standing trees, it dries much faster. So again, there you've 2-3 months sometimes, and it's ready to go, because when you split it open, it's pretty much dry already. The other wood that takes longer and takes the longest, I should say, is oak. Oak is one of those kinds of wood that if you cut it green, living, standing trees, even if you split it down to about 2, 3, 4 inches thick at the most, you're still going to have a full year pretty much. I always say it dries about 1 inch a year from all sides. So if you got a piece of wood that's 16 inches and it's say 4 inches thick and it's this wide, basically all those surfaces, it'll dry in about 1 inch. If it's wood that's really wet, it could take a little longer. Also, your drying conditions, like I mentioned. If you live on the west coast, especially up in the northwest, where it rains all the time, that's going to take longer to dry. If you live somewhere in the southwest, your wood's going to dry really fast because you rarely get rain. It's just dry all the time. So your wood will dry very fast. You have heat, dry air, lots of sun. That makes a big difference. If you live in an area that is, more rainy, more humid, cooler temperatures, it's going to take a little longer. Again, like I've always said, if you've got your wood in an area where you've got lots of shade, say you're under trees, or you've got trees on the side of your property where you store your wood and it's under those trees all the time, especially if they're evergreens, the sun never hits it, it's probably blocking a lot of the wind. That makes a big difference, because it takes 3 things, I've said this lots of times, to dry wood. It takes time, airflow, and heat of some source. It doesn't have to be hot heat, which means 100 degrees. It can just be nice, livable temperatures, 60, 70 degrees. With the sun on it, it'll dry great. But wood also dries in the wintertime. If you've got wood sitting where the sun can hit it, and you get days even in the 20s and 30s, but the sun's on it, that wood will actually get warm and it will dry. You have drier air in the wintertime, at least we do here. I don't know how it is where you are, but conditions matter. I'm gonna stop talking and chuck some wood right now. There it is, half of a full cord, or a face cord and a half, however you like to say it. It is in, it is covered, and like I said before, this is going to delivery for first thing tomorrow. I wanted to get it loaded today because I wanted to be ahead of the game, because I got other stuff I got to do. So it's loaded up, and that'll be delivered tomorrow. There's same wood as I delivered earlier today. This has got hard maple. There's ash in here and ironwood, but mostly hard maple. And I'm selling that kind of as mixed hardwood, even though I've got other mixed hardwood that I sell. I've got a lot of this, and what I have found is that this area, I'm able to get hard maple, but hardly anybody knows what it is other than maple. They don't realize hard maple is as good as oak or hickory. It's awesome firewood. But for some reason, a lot of people just, the only word they know is 3 letters, and they oak. That's what they want, oak, because oak. So I'm just selling it as mixed hardwood. If I have people that want it, yes, I will have it. I got that whole pile there. There's a lot in that. And then I got all this left too yet. So I'm going to show you something here, because I had a question the other day about this. People have been asking me about, they just don't believe that there's no mold in this wood. And this wood was processed when it was green and then put right into the bin here. And it was done kind of in the end of the summer last year. Maybe it was middle of summer, I don't remember. But I've been digging down all the way to the bottom, and it's as dry in the bottom as it is in the top, and there's no mold at all in here. So if you dig in, you can see there's just nothing. There's none of you guys can see, but there's just no mold anywhere in here. It's awesome. And this is the one bin that I made. So I've got a pallet on each side, and then I put a pallet in the middle so it overlaps, so it's kind of off the ground. So I've got all this space here because there's, I don't know, a good 7-8 inches before. I'll stick this piece of wood in here and show you how much space there is. There's that much space between the pallet and the ground, so whatever that is, 10 inches, it's a bunch. And it works really good. So the wood dries excellent in these bins, just absolutely fantastic. Some guys were telling me, oh, you could never put green wood into a bin, it's got to be dry before you do that. No, not with the conditions we have here. We've got wind and sun all the time. And a lot of people think that rain hurts it. Not at all. Rain hurts it very little. And I think the actual rain that you get on it and then when it evaporates off is actually helping pull more moisture out of the wood. And that's where it turns gray, like you see this stuff out here. And then down inside, you're going to have more of the creamy kind of color. And just like a sidewalk, when you get rain, the cement sidewalk, once the sun comes up, within an hour or two, the sidewalks are dry. It evaporates right away. It doesn't hurt the wood at all. And if you get a little bit of a peak to your piles, the wood will drain off the sides. If you see how a lot of guys build those whole housings, I think that's how you say it, where they're, it's like a little silo of wood and then they put the top on, and they always put the tops on kind of like shingles all the way around, and they say they dry as good as any other way of stacking wood. Yes, I suppose if you stacked wood in single rows and left space enough to walk between all of your rows and you ran them as long as you can, that would work just as good as long as the wood is off the ground. But why go through all that work? Just throw it in one of these and be done. And then as far as measuring it, like I've said many times, I know how much wood to put into my trailers. I know how much a face cord or a third of a cord is in this trailer. I know how much this is. It's a face cord and a half or a third and a half, or it is a half of a full cord. If I put this as full as I can get it, heaped, so I can't really get any more wood in it, it's 2 face cords or 2/3 of a cord. And if that doesn't work, then I use my other trailer. It's way out over there, and that I can put 4 face cords or a full cord in a 1/3 in loose. If I stack it, I can get 5 in, and then Adam's trailer's there. And with that trailer, we can easily get 5, almost 6 face cords or 2 full cords in his trailer. So it's just volume, and a lot of people want to know the conversion. And a full cord is 128 cubic feet stacked, but loose it ends up being about 170 to 180 depending on the length of your pieces. The longer they are, the more space you're going to have. So if you got smaller pieces, you need actually less volume to make up that full cord. So you just figure out your dimensions of your trailer. You take your width, your height, and your length and figure it out, figure out your cubic feet, and you get pretty close. But what I did over the years is I had piles that I had stacked that were full cord piles, and I put them into my trailers, and it took me years to figure this out because I'm slower than most, because that's why I cut firewood, because I have a weak mind and a strong back. The thing is, it was always the same amount of wood. If I'd put a face cord in or a 1/3 of a cord, it's like, oh, same as last time. Oh, same as last time. Oh, same as last time. And a full cord, the same thing. I put it in, it was like, yep, goes right to there, straight to that board, just kind of even across, and it's always the right amount. So what I do now is I take the loose wood, put it into those amounts into the trailers, because I know how much to put in, and if I get it to where I think it's enough, I throw a little more in, because the customers are happy. The guy I delivered to that you didn't see the video of today, the Cherry, he had a face cord and probably a 1/4 extra. We had a pile that was, I don't know, 3 feet by 3 feet almost, extra wood that he got, and he was happy as could be. Gave me an extra 20 bucks, so there you go. I always try to give people more than what they pay for. A little bit extra is good. Sometimes I'll throw in some wood that they have turned their nose up to or never heard of or don't know what it is. I'll grab an armful of something that I'm trying to promote a little bit, like maybe some beech or some of this stuff, the hard maple, or maybe it's some locust, something that a lot of people don't know what it is, because the average consumer knows basically like 3 kinds of wood: pine, oak, and that's about it. There's 2 kinds. They know pine and oak. That's what I hear. Or walnut. All like walnut, because it's like, oh, beautiful walnut, whatever. It's average firewood. Anyway, there we go. the load is on. Tomorrow I'll be delivering it. You're probably going to see it either tomorrow or the next day because I got another video I got to shoot this afternoon. I got an idea for you guys you're going to like. So that's it for today, folks. I'll be back here tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. I'll be waiting for you. You better be here. Good night, Irene.